The scariest thing I ever saw was the prince biting into his own brother's neck, licking the blood like milk. I was just a goat, a regular old village goat. I belonged to Mama Ralia, the herb seller. I roamed free most days. I saw things, heard things, but nothing ever prepared me for what happened when the cat prince came. He wasn't a prince in the human way. He was a real cat. A lean black one with yellow eyes that looked like they were always thinking dark thoughts. He lived in the royal compound of the Oba's palace. Rumors said his spirit was tied to the royal family. If the prince died, so would the cat. But that cat didn't look like it was planning to die soon. Everything changed the day the Oba died. The two sons of the Oba started fighting over who should rule. But then one day the younger one, Prince Odu, just disappeared. They said he ran away, but I know what I saw. That night, I had escaped from Mama Ralia's rope and wandered to the palace fence. The moon was heavy and red. I heard a low growling sound, not like a dog, not even like a normal cat. It was deeper. It made my hooves shake. So I peeked through a crack in the mud wall. Inside the palace garden, the wicked cat prince was sitting on Prince Odu's chest. The young prince was still breathing. His eyes were wide open, filled with fear, but he couldn't scream. Something was choking him. The cat bit into his throat, slowly, like he had done it before, like it was a ritual. Then, this is what still haunts me. The cat turned into the older prince. Just like that, like air changing temperature. 1 second fur, the next, human skin, red with blood. He stood up, wiped his mouth, and whispered, "Now there's only one prince." I ran so hard my legs nearly gave out. But who would believe a goat? Days passed. They crowned the older prince. The cat was gone. No one ever found Odu's body. Only his bracelet, buried near the palace garden. I saw it when the rains washed part of the soil away. Sometimes at night I still hear the growl. Sometimes I see two yellow eyes behind the bush fence near Mama Ralia's hut. I don't go out at night anymore. Not since I learned that cats don't always bury their secrets. Sometimes they just wait until you forget. And I haven't. I tried to forget. Believe me, I did. But every time the wind blew through the trees and made that dry, raspy sound, I remembered that growl. Mama Ralia noticed I was acting strange. "Why you no go graze, eh?" she'd ask, tying herbs and whispering to herself. "You dey sick?" I couldn't explain it to her. I was just a goat. I couldn't talk. But I wanted to scream. The prince is not who he says he is. The real one is dead, and the cat did it. But how do you tell a human that their new king is a shapeshifter with blood on his teeth? One day, a young boy named Jado came to buy herbs from Mama. I had seen him before, always quiet, always watching. He was a palace errand boy, carried water, fed the animals. He sat near me that evening, tossing old cassava peels at the ground. I didn't eat. He noticed. "Why you dey look like that, goat?" he muttered. I stared back. Then he leaned closer and whispered, "They say the cat is gone, but I still hear scratching in the walls. I think it's still there." My ears perked up. Someone else knew. He kept talking. "I saw the prince walking in the garden last night, but the guard said he never left his chambers. How can someone be in two places at once?" That's when I made up my mind. I started going back to the palace fence at night, hiding behind the same crack in the mud wall, watching. I saw him again. Not the prince, the cat, digging, scratching the ground with sharp claws, dragging something dark and heavy. One night he pulled out a body, another palace boy, this one missing for 2 days. The cat stared at him, then slowly changed. His limbs cracked and shifted, bones snapped, fur sank into skin, and he became human again, dripping with wetness like something just born. That's when I knew. The prince wasn't a man who turned into a cat. He was a cat that wore a man's skin. I tried to warn Jado. I found him near the market one evening and headbutted him, hard. He laughed and said, "Crazy goat." But he followed me back to Mama's. That night, I took him to the wall, showed him the crack. He looked, he saw, he never laughed again. The next morning, Jada was gone. They said he fell into the river, but the river was dry. The cat prince came to our village 2 days later, dressed in white robes, gold on his neck. He smiled at everyone, but not at me. He looked me dead in the eye, like he remembered, like he knew. That night, I found a pile of feathers behind Mama's hut. No bird in sight, just feathers, wet with something that wasn't rain. Now every time the moon turns red, I sleep with one eye open, because the prince may rule the palace, but the cat still rules the night. It didn't end there. Weeks passed, but the fear didn't leave me. It got worse. Mama Ralia started acting strange too, talking in her sleep, drawing strange signs in the dust outside the hut, burning herbs that smelled like rot instead of healing. One night, I saw her standing by the hut door, just staring into the dark, not moving, not blinking. I nudged her leg. She didn't flinch. She whispered, "He's coming for you, goat." I froze. She turned slowly and walked back inside without another word. That was when I knew she'd seen it too, or worse, he'd visited her. The next night I ran again, back to the palace fence. The moon was half full, the sky clear. I knew what I had to do. The palace shrine was the only place the elders said the spirits couldn't enter. Not even the shapeshifters, not even the witches. That's where the Oba's ancestors were buried, deep under layers of stone, salt, and ash. If I could get inside, maybe I could find something. Some proof. Some protection. I got in. It wasn't hard. The guards ignored me. Just a goat after all. I crept in through the back, past the cooking huts, through the silent hall, down to the shrine where the air was cold and the walls were covered in dried blood and carvings. I stepped carefully. That's when I saw it. An old, broken statue of the first Oba, eyes chipped out, mouth open like it was screaming. And behind it, bones. Human bones, laid out like someone had tried to piece a body back together. The bracelet, Odu's bracelet, wrapped around the wrist bone, still shining. But it wasn't dusty. It was clean, fresh. I turned to run, too late. He was there, the cat prince, naked. No robe, no crown, just black fur half sunk into pale skin. One arm still human, one leg still cat. He didn't speak. He just watched me. Then he crouched low and let out that growl again. Not loud, but deep, like it started in the earth. I bolted. I crashed through offerings, spilled ashes, kicked candles. I heard him behind me, paws slapping stone, claws clicking like nails on wood. I didn't look back. I ran all the way back to Mama's, but the door was open. She was gone. Only one thing left on the floor. A cat's whisker, long and black. And one word, scratched into the wall with something sharp. Run. Now I hide in the hills. I don't go near the village. People say the new king is good, kind, generous. They don't know. He's not a king. He's a shadow wrapped in skin. And one day when he's done with the palace, when the old blood runs dry, he'll come looking for the goat who saw too much. And this time, I don't think I'll outrun him.